Happy.
Welcome, welcome. So sorry. I will admit I'm re-recording this because I did not hit the record button, and let me double check. We are recording. Yay. So this
Yeah.
is session one that I did a couple days ago, and I want to go through the basics of SEO and talk about the sales funnel and what you can be doing with your Real Geek site or your IDX site, any of the IDXs, and do this. So let me start the slideshow here. Here's my information. And I also have Leslie Wilson on here. Leslie is he's our conversion master in our getting the leads in and getting them converted. So there are 5 things I do in a Bob McCraney presentation. One, I know I talk fast. So either listen faster or slow me down. I don't care which one. Feel free to laugh at me, laugh with me. These are fun things we shouldn't be worried about. Social media and websites are fun. They don't get overwhelming. Please just stick with me here. I'm going to tell you this up front. This is how I run my business. It doesn't mean that, you know, this is the only way you can run the business. There'd be 5 experts on here and you'd have 5 different opinions. And if I'm sharing screens and you see passwords or something somebody posted you don't like, just close your eyes. Because if I'm doing a live share, I have no idea what's going to come up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. That is just not what you wanted to see. Okay. So this is a sales funnel. This is a basic sales funnel. Top of funnel is awareness. You're literally just trying to get people to look at you. Oh my gosh, look over here. You're the wacky waving, arm flailing, inflatable tube man trying to get people to just look over at us and pay attention. Next is interest. Once we have their interest, we have to say something that will get them to engage with us. This is where you throw out your best sales pitch, where you have your scripts, you have your best lines. Then they make the decision. I've looked at him. He said something funny. Do I want to work with him? Then we go into them being a client. This is where we do showings. We write our contracts. We do our inspections, repair amendments, things like that. We don't get paid till blue. We don't get paid till fulfillment. Okay. We do all this work for fulfillment and don't get paid till here. Then we get retention, and we hope that the people will bring their friends back up to the prospect level and they'll bring referrals in, and we'll have this whole loop going back and forth, right? I want to show you that social media helps with awareness, interest, and retention. Social media helps with awareness, interest, and retention. Your your IDX site helps with the full funnel. Okay. Now, I'm a Real Geeks proponent. I put all the other site brands on here just in case there's other people out there. And let me just say clearly, for the first, last, and all the other times, I do not get paid to refer any brand. Okay. But your IDX website should support all these levels of the sales funnel, different than social media. Okay. So I always ask this question, Anne, and since you're the person on the call, you get to answer this question. Tell me what this restaurant serves.
Nothing.
No, no, tell me. I mean, literally, it's a restaurant, right? This is what most realtor websites look like to search engines. They have no idea who you are, what you're doing, and where you're at. Okay, because most of us don't have meta descriptions, meta keywords, title tags, things like that would tell Google what we're doing as a business here. Okay. Most people have, I like to use this flower on the right here, this poor little flower. Most people have one URL, a home page, and then an about me page. Their whole site is just 3 or 4 little elements. No self-respecting bee is going to come pollinate this flower. Okay. I'm trying to get people to get their websites to bloom and to really show everybody what's in the inventory. I like to use the metaphor of an apparel store. Let's say we all go into business together and we're going to run an apparel store, and we're going to have trousers and blouses and scarves in the front window. And then when people come in the door, we're going to say, oh, your size and your color, they're in the back in a box somewhere. You go find it. We're literally going to tell our customers to go back in the back room and pull the boxes open and find their color and size. That's what we do with the realtor website. We literally have a box that says, good luck finding a house yourself. We don't put anything out on our website. We don't display all the houses. We don't have a link set up for every variety of home that we can think of. We literally tell the customer, go back in that box and try to find that size and color of house you want. Good luck. And then we wonder why our websites don't work. Okay. So a poorly deployed website can cost you more money than you're thinking. It usually has a single URL. It's usually a vanity URL like bobsthebestagent.com, which is not great. It has minimal page deployment and poor keywords and meta descriptions. Okay. Now, some people, I'm going to stop here. Some people will tell me, well, keywords are dead. Google doesn't look at them. Well, when Realtor.com and Zillow give up keywords, I'll give up keywords. But right now, Realtor.com and Zillow are investing heavily in keyword research. I'm not gonna give that up yet. Somebody can wrestle me down and tell me I'm stupid. That's fine. I'm not giving it up until I see the big players give it up as well. Okay. So I always suggest to people that they not have just their name. I mean, own your name. I own Bob McCraney, but I run Texas Pride Realty because someday I want to sell this business or let somebody inherit this business. And it's going to be really hard for them to be Bob McCraney. It's going to be very easy for them to walk in and open Texas Pride Realty tomorrow as their brand and do it their way. So think about geographical or superlatives and things like that. Be aware of trademarks. Don't use realtor in the name inappropriately, but think about what your URL is. And I can do some sessions on that for people if they want to show them how to, pick the right URL. Okay. So a well-developed site has area pages, link pages, keywords, content, frequently updated blogs, videos, etc. It has multiple URLs, has an area names for different areas, exponential page development. Some sites will charge you extra if you want to have more than 5 pages. So long tail keyword development is possible. Let me stop for a second. Some of the brands really don't want you to do SEO. Okay. Some of the brands actually don't give you the option to do basic SEO because they want you hooked on the Google ads. Okay. They want you to buy the Google. It's not the price of the printer that gets you, it's the price of the cartridges, right? The printer was only $200, but you're spending $150 on cartridges every 3 months. They're just getting you addicted. So when the site doesn't allow development and doesn't allow keyword and meta descriptions and multiple pages and links and stuff like that, they're really just trapping you into a Google ad generator, which is great for them. And you know what blinker fluid is. So your blinker isn't working. You go to the mechanic and you go in there and the mechanic's like, here, hon, I'm going to sell you this $400 blinker fluid. This fluid, it fixes the left blinker, the right blinker. And this one is so good, it fixes the back blinkers too. It'll be great. You'll be set for 6 weeks. And you pay $400 and you drive home and you think you fixed your car. It was a 30-cent light bulb. That's what most people are getting with their realtor websites. They don't understand that what they're getting is actually blinker fluid. It's not going to help because they use big buzzwords and they show you sites that have like swans swimming in the background and aerials of flying over my city and your Superman going over all the buildings. That just makes your site slow. Google does not care about that. The person we're coding our site for is Google. And I will say all the other search engines, mostly Google, okay? We're not designing for the human eye, we're designing for the Google eye. And what we get lost in is that so many people just, but Bob, I'm a luxury agent. I really need to have this. My people won't like my website if it doesn't look posh. Nobody cares. And if your audience is the 10 people that you sold a house to last year who are going to be posh about it, you're not going to grow a site. Okay? So I know I'm going to get some blowback on that, but that's absolutely true. So let's go into what are the ranking factors for SEO, search engine optimization. And I know this is kind of boring, geeky stuff, but stick with me here. Okay, you have off-page SEO. Off-page is your links to your site that you help set up on other people's site. I have a link from Leslie to me, and Leslie's link to my site says Texas Pride Realty Bob McCraney. Okay, so we're talking about Leslie has a link to me, and what the link says is important too. Okay, if the link to me said Bob's a horrible agent, well, the words would mean something. So it's the link and what the link anchor says. It's the domain authority of the link to me. Domain authority is basically how important is the site that's talking about me. So if Beyonce goes to the microphone and says, Ann's the best agent in town, you should use Ann every time, your site would go crazy because somebody with domain authority of Beyonce said it. Now, if my great aunt goes to the corner and says, Ann's a sweet little realtor, you should use her, no one's going to care because, she doesn't know anybody. So domain authority of 10 for my great aunt and 100 for Beyonce, you want to get more of the people at the higher level of domain authority to talk about you and link back. Okay. So let's talk about behavior. Part of this depends on the user. Okay. So when users come to your site, how fast do they click on your site and leave? How long do they dwell on your site? What do they do? Are they on mobile? Do the mobile sites work well, and do the mobile users stay or do desktop users stay? It looks at the behavior of other people who used your site and then helps determine about where you're going to rank. Personalization, it'll look at my search history. If I'm the user and I'm looking up florists, it's going to look at the fact that I use the same florist 3 times and probably put that florist a little higher because it's personalizing to my search history. It's also going to use my device location. If I'm looking at a florist, it's going to show me a florist around me, not one in Miami. Okay? It's not going to pick something randomly. It's going to show me local geographic information. It'll also check my device. So if I have like an older phone, it may not show the super slick website that just came out because my older phone may not play it right. Here's a hint. If you're looking to work with seniors, don't have a website that's so fancy that their phones won't show it. Actually, maybe code a site to use older technologies so that it might show up a little bit more on those older phones. Just something to think about there. Citations are important on your website. Citations are your location data, like your address, your phone number. Are you registered, with different businesses? Consistency is incredibly important here. They want to be sure you're not a spammer site. They know that a normal business is going to have an address, a phone number, an email, and social media links and things like that. Those basic citations would normally be missing off of a spammer site, so they're going to look for that. That's just something that every site should normally have. Then we get to on-page SEO. On-page is exactly opposite of off-page. On-page is your descriptions, your meta data on descriptions and keywords and titles and your domain authority. So as more people talk about me and I have more content, my domain authority will rise. So on-page SEO is the stuff we can control normally on our site if the site provider lets us, okay? And it's incredibly important to have that. On and off-page SEO to me are just like the thing. Reviews. Now, reviews are talking more about Google business profiles, okay? Reviews are, first and third party reviews of how you work. Every time you do a closing, I'm sure you're asking your person to do a review for you, your client. The quality of those reviews. They will never say that a Google local guide, when they review you, it means more, but I suspect it does. Also, if the review says Ann's a nice person, that's not going to be as good as Ann's a professional realtor and I highly recommend Ann. So when you're asking for reviews, sometimes you can ask people to recommend you, or you can give them a suggested text, that uses weighted words that are important in those reviews. Professional, highly recommend, knowledgeable, things like that versus sweet, nice, kind. Okay? And then your Google My Business profile is important to ranking as well. Your proximity to the person who's asking for your service, the categories and keywords you use in the business, things like that. So these are 7 ranking factors that Google tracks. There are 2 types of ways you can show up in a Google search. Top is your map pack. So when you're searching for Italian restaurant near me, it's going to show you a map of Italian restaurants geographically around your phone. We've all done this. We've all looked up restaurants or places to go shop, things like that. The second place you can show up is in the organic search results. Now, this is going to be where you are having your website rank more than your Google My Business. Okay, so these are 2 different ways you can show up. And I want to show you that those 7 items I just walked you through are conversely related. The 2 that help your Google My Business the most are your reviews and how well you filled out your Google Business profile. The ones that help your website rank are the opposite. So my play is to take my website work and display it on Google My Business so the 2 have the best working relationship. To take things from your website and make products and updates and reviews on your Google Business profile. To get that off-page SEO working and to boost your profile at the same time. Make sense? Okay, so often agents deploy their site poorly and get stuck paying for Google or Facebook ads to force people to come to their site. A sustainable business designs a site that draws customers organically. Some IDX providers want you to deploy poorly so that you buy ads through them. It's not the cost of the printer that's expensive, it's the cartridges. You just heard me say that. I stole from myself earlier. Okay, so let's talk about my site here for a minute, okay? My site is with TexasPrideRealty.com, and we are a Real Geek site. I have broken out all these different ways you can look at houses in my area by school district, by the rail line, by price point, leases, zip codes by county. These are different suburban areas of Dallas-Fort Worth. Each of these have a 17 link subordinate page. As you click on, if you clicked on Dallas, it would show you 17 different ways to break Dallas out as an inventory. It would show you 17 different ways to break out Grand Prairie. I can show you that in a subsequent video or a one-on-one, how to do that so that we get the inventory open so people can see it. Okay. I did builders. I did new on the market, golf course, craftsman, Victorian. All these different links are different sites within my site, different searches within my site. Luxury properties, urban, land. I had no idea mother-in-law plan would be my #1 thing almost every month. I had no idea that people wanted to live with their mother-in-law, but the multi-gen housing is a big thing, and people are clicking on that quite a bit. I broke out 14 different counties in the area. Now I need to go back and add more. My site will never be done. I will always be developing my site. I have some people who say, well, I only want to drive to these 5 towns. I don't want to drive anywhere else. So don't do those cities. If I can outmarket Sally in her city and get a referral, is that worth something to me? If I can draw in a lead in an area that I don't work and make 35% or 25%, is that worth something? Damn right. So I encourage people to break their site out and show everywhere they can possibly be. Okay. If your site covers 55 counties like Netris does where I'm at, why not show all 55 counties? Why not have links? Just have them sit there. You're literally putting bait on a hook and throwing it in the water. And I want to have 10,000 hooks in the water because I don't know which one's going to get a fish. I don't fish. Please don't send me bait. Okay. I also did high-rise buildings in the area. I went and found all the high-rise. Now, ChatGPT actually showed me some high-rises I didn't have. Okay, so I went back and I was like, dang it, I hate that they're right, but I missed some. So I went back and made pages for that. I stole the keywords and meta descriptions from those buildings' own web pages. Okay, to the point now that I rank for those pages, for those buildings, and people call me thinking I'm the HOA. People call me going, hey, we got a problem with the trash on floor 3. And I'm like, wrong number. So sorry, not me. I'm just selling, units in your building. Now there are around 450 zip codes in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've coded about 200 of them now. I just got another batch of them done the other day. I'm going to work through every zip code in the area. After I get through zip codes, I'm going to break down all the school zones. After I get through school zones, I'm going to do radiuses around universities. I'm going to just keep thinking about ways I can break my website out so that people can put in a long tail keyword search and get right to the property they want. So do you know what a long tail keyword is? Okay, short tail would be Dallas real estate, 3 words. Dallas real estate short. Dallas homes on a cul-de-sac lot is long tail. It's more than 3 words. So you want to have as many long tail keywords as you can accessible. Leslie, you got a question?
So I actually don't have a question. The long tail keywords are important. You can pay when you're buying Google ads. If the Google ads are for the shorter tail keywords, like you want to be for Dallas real estate or Houston real estate, seldom are they long tail. Now, organically, long tail is where we're found. As for conversion, what do you think is going to be an easier conversion? Someone who searched for a home in this subdivision on a corner lot with a pool, and that's how they found you because you already know what they're looking for, or someone who got a Google ad, Dallas real estate for sale.
Exactly. Excellent point. So let's talk about this for a second. I am great at top of funnel. I am great at getting people to look at us and bring the lead in. Leslie is in charge of conversion, getting that lead and getting them to convert. So if you have CRM issues, if you want to learn how to do drip systems, if you want to learn how to do retention of your customers, Leslie's the person to talk to because that is his bailiwick and he's so good at it. So we kind of, we work together as a team. If you have questions about how to organize your CRM, how to do follow-ups, how to do drips, things like that, Leslie is the person you need to talk to. And I'll put his digits below too. So my goal is to break the inventory out. Leslie's goal is to convert every person we possibly can. When I break my inventory out, you'll see here that my organic search goes through the roof. Okay, these are stats from my website. I'm using Google Analytics. The organic search goes through the roof. Then it goes to direct. Direct is somebody who just typed the link in, okay? Or conversely, maybe had the link in an email. They didn't came right to me. These are people who searched. These are people who came right to me. Unassigned will keep growing over time because we have privacy is an issue. We have DuckDuckGo. We have people with iPhones who have their tracing turned off, things like that. So unassigned, we're just going to have to deal with. We won't know where it came from. Paid search, you'll see here, I do run Google Ads. I run them through Real Geeks, and they have a great system for me, and I just let them run it because I screwed up my Google account years ago. Long story, different session. And then organic social. This is where people are on Facebook or YouTube and they see my link and they click over. This is something I could really grow if I had more time. And you have a question.
Oh my gosh, how do you get 3,000 direct people to your site? Are you sending out mass emails? Like, what are you doing to get them directly there?
It's just a matter of getting your name out, getting your searches out, sending a consistent email to people, highlighting different listings. It's a variety of tactics that you can use. Now, I want to tell you that this is a long play. This is not, oh my gosh, I need to make money tomorrow. Okay. If you're doing, oh my gosh, I need to make money tomorrow, you need to be nose to nose with people, what we call active lead sources. You need to be open housing, door knocking, phone calling, being at social events, just being in front of people. This is a passive marketing. People will stumble across this today, tomorrow, or 9 months from now, and you'll make money long term on passives or long term money. Actives are short term money. Okay. But it depends on where you're at in your business cycle. If you need really fast income, this is not the right play for you. And I'll be upfront with you. But if you want a sustainable business, this is the right play for you. Okay. And one of the other things that helps you with organic is getting somebody with a higher domain authority to talk about you. So that can be building backlinks. That can be getting into a press article, maybe being mentioned in your community newsletter, maybe your church newsletter, something that gets a link back to your site and somebody higher than you talks about you. And that's possible. It's very possible.
I had written previous articles, let's say in the Washington Post, right? I write about downsizing and so forth. Does the date of how do you create that if it's like from 2 years ago? Does that still
if you have to talk to the editor of the Post and that article and see if they can put a link to it. It may be too late to get that, or you could reprint the article in your Active Rain blog or your WordPress blog. Active Rain is a site from the 2010 time frame, and it was big for a long time. It still has the Google juice. If you make a blog on Active Rain and say, hey, I was in the Washington Post, here's a link to the article, boom, you'll get an Active Rain link back, which is, I think, a 60 or 70 domain authority link back, and you can control those all day. Go ahead and pay the $100 to Active Rain so that your blog shows publicly, because otherwise it'll only be people inside Active Rain who see it. But it's a way to just generate your own link backs.
And I checked the other day, Active Rain's domain authority is 75.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and you can just sit there and make posts all day on the Active Rain. Yeah, over and over and over and over again. One of my highest domain authority link backs is Bitly. Bitly has a 90-something domain authority. And I just made Bitly link, and I didn't realize, holy crap, that's a backlink. I know, Leslie's face just fell off. Yeah, Bitly. Google used to have its own shortener, and they got rid of it. But that link is highly ranking too, because it's from Google. So
can I ask you one more
domain authority
question?
hacks.
So I am in 2 markets. I'm in the Northern Virginia, DC market, and I am expanded into Florida. So setting up a new footprint. I know that for Google Business, I need to have 2 separate locations because they're 2 separate brokerages, right? So it takes 2 separate offices. How about for Zillow reviews and for other reviews? Is it specific to location and brokerage, or is it one?
It's one.
Awesome.
I would do it as one. Yeah. Google reviews, since you have 2 different Google profiles, will be separate, but the Zillow will be unified, or it can be unified in my mind.
Which one should one be seeking? Both? Or is there a way to have,
why not?
Is there some sort of instead of making the client post it on 2 different sites, is there something that one can get where they can put the review on one and it puts it on multiple sites? Is there something like that
Not
available?
really. They don't, the sites don't like it when you do that. One thing you can do is take a screenshot of the other review and put the screenshot on the second site, because Google will read the image. Google can find the text in the image and oh, this is a review, and it'll see it. So screenshotting is like a second best way of doing it.
So screenshot a Zillow review, and then how do you
Put it
post
on
it on
Google.
your Google?
Yeah, put it on Google, and Google will actually, it knows enough to read the image and find out what it's about. If you go to your Google Photos, photos.google.com, or your Apple, and you type in Christmas tree, it's smart enough to know which pictures have a Christmas tree in it. It's smart enough to know which one has a dog in it, that sort of thing. And we have this little test on every website. Are you a robot? Can you pick out which ones has a motorcycle? The robots know how to pick the motorcycle. So it's kind of weird. Okay, back to this. This is just more information about my site, how many users I've had and when. Okay, so in this, I had 2,400 people on my site in 30 days. I consider a website an open house that you don't have to staff. A website is an open house you don't have to staff. If I had 2,400 people come through my open house in a month, would I be successful? Yeah. Now, what makes an open house successful? Not just the door being open and people coming in, but the person who's running the open house, which is where it gets to Leslie, who takes the list of people who came to my open house and converts them. Okay. So it's not just that 2,400 people came to my site. Out of those, X number of people actually registered. And out of those, Leslie's converting Y amount. So it's a matter of getting the people in the door and then converting them. Okay. But I want to show what I'm doing to get people in the door. Okay. Now, these are my numbers for my Google ad versus my organic. Okay. First column here is my Google ad. Second column here is my organic. Can you see my cursor? Yeah. Okay. So I started the Google ad in July of 2020. The pandemic was raging and I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I got 12 agents or so. I got to feed them. So I paid for the Google ad and they brought in 50, and they promised me between 30 and 50 a month. Okay. They hit the nail on the head. 50. I brought in 41 organically. 53, 36, 52, 39. You see it here. And then in December, I match them. And when I match them, it goes green here and I get a cookie. So that's, I want to reward myself. The second year, I matched them 4 different times. Okay. So we went from 1 time in 6 months to 4 times. And then the next year, I matched them all but twice. And now so far this year, I've beaten them every month. I'm not going to get rid of the Google ad because I still like bringing them in. And you'll see there's a seasonality. Towards the end of the year, people stop looking at houses and they get in holiday mode. That's fine. But one of my problems is, do you remember back in the like 4 years ago when Facebook was the rage and everybody had Facebook ads for their site? And then Facebook got in trouble and everybody runs out the door and runs over to Google. What's going to happen when Google gets in trouble and everybody runs out the door somewhere else? I want to have organic people coming to my site. I don't want to have to go get in line at the next ad provider to get my business. I want to have business coming to me. And here's just another graph of how that worked. Okay. So I want to kind of stop here and I want to look at, if you want me to, I'll look at your site and give you some ideas. Would you want me to do that right now? Or do you want to just say,
my site isn't developed. It's not really developed yet. It's supposed to be completed. We're just getting some preliminary stuff. It's brand new, but
gotcha.
Sure. I would love for you to take a look at it. And
okay.
Yeah, it's annori.com for now. So I'm in 2 different markets, and in Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., and Maryland. So we're trying to create a landing page where it segregates. You could pick Florida or you pick Northern Virginia. And from there, they're supposed to enter. And as you scroll down, it's supposed to, I think they're developing it today or tomorrow.
Okay. Well, it's too early then for us to really talk about that.
But what if you go into
Florida?
I'm in Palm Beach.
Why not say Palm Beach?
Because Florida is between Miami Palm Beach County, Northern, Fort
If
Lauderdale.
I was looking in Destin, I would come to your site and I wouldn't find Destin. Florida is a huge territory.
But since my customer base is further north, from more in the Northern Virginia area, right? So if
Mhm.
I don't let them know specifically Florida, they would not, I feel that they would not come in.
Okay, my point being is you're not building this for your customer base. They already know and love you. You're building this for the random person who doesn't even know you yet.
How about
Your
Southern
magnet
Florida?
city, possibly better. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Question for you.
So you live in the Washington, D.C. area,
yes.
right?
Well, no, I'm in
Okay.
Florida. Yes, I'm the downsizing coach. So I've implemented my downsizing and moved to Florida and now trying to teach about downsizing and so forth.
Let's take it away from you for a second. Let's say that somebody's in suburban Dallas, like they live in Plano. Nobody knows Plano, they know Dallas. Dallas is your magnet city. You need to advertise your magnet city and then introduce them to the other cities around that they could like. Okay.
Okay.
Nobody's going to be looking for Mesquite, Texas. They're going to be looking for Dallas, Fort Worth. And between those, they're going to look for Dallas or Fort Worth. So
Okay.
being specific will, you're going to hear a lot of people tell you the specific is more important than the general.
Okay.
So I would be specific.
And I think I've been emulating what I've seen others do, but your feedback is awesome. So Southern
There's
Florida, where I have to find some sort of verbiage because I don't want to just put the counties, Palm Beach County, Broward County, Miami County. Yes, Leslie.
So as they build out your Florida side, you want to build it out for the areas that you serve. So the way I see it right now is that if they click on search now in Virginia, they will go to is it a separate site for Virginia?
So it's going to go to a separate page where it's going to then have the land, right? So for the different communities, Washington, D.C., counties, Maryland counties, and Virginia. And then for Florida, it's going to have the main areas, Miami, Wellington.
So on the first page of your website, they're not going to see
No.
so those secondary pages that you build out will have to be very specific, and you might want to even obtain some domain names that point to those secondary pages for better
Okay.
marketing. That's where we're being specific. Like if you've Miami homes for sale or something like that's probably taken, but something more specific and have the domains built out, which will give it a little bit more authority.
So it's more than just pointing the domain to that page.
It is exactly pointing the domain. Ask Bob. He has like 600 domains. Bob is the best.
I collect domains like some people collect shoes. Let me give you an example. I have a Dallas Fort Worth site. I have an East Texas site. I have an Austin site. I would never combine the three together. I would never combine the three together because I don't think that it would get as much SEO in three different sites, three different MLSs. So if I had the site, I could only use the fields that were common to all three. So in my searches, if the East Texas site didn't have cul-de-sacs, none of the sites would be able to do cul-de-sacs. If Austin didn't have mother-in-law, none of the sites could have mother-in-law. So I'm hurting myself by combining the MLSs together.
So are you saying you have 3 separate Real Geek accounts?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, because each one will attract a different thing, and each one has a different magnet city. Austin is a totally different vibe than Dallas. Leslie,
I think of it a different way. One day you might want to sell your business. How many buyers are going to want Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and Florida? If you separate them out, you have separate businesses to sell. It's very unlikely that someone's going to want all of that. They're going to want the pieces. So by having separate sites, you have separate businesses to sell and separate evaluations on them. You can sell them as a group, but the likelihood of someone being in all those markets like you are, probably not as likely if they're looking to buy a business.
One secondary question, if they were to click over from the landing page to the secondary page, right, which is the Florida page or the Northern Virginia page. The question for you would be, does Google read it differently, page 1 versus page 2?
The closer you are to page 1, the more important the page. So let's say that you have a site where you have to click on 4 or 5 different links to get something. By the time you're at the 5th link, Google says, well, this wasn't a high priority. It wasn't on closely related to page 1. It's buried in the site. So if you have something that's like 1 or 2 clicks from, you want your content to be only 1 or 2 clicks away from the main site. Okay. And otherwise Google just depreciates the value of that content. So if you have to click on homepage, Florida, Dade County, homes for sale, that's what, 4 or 5 steps in versus having, you know, a Florida page that's all about Florida and a URL. Leslie's very, very right. Have a URL that, if you want to keep this unified, have a URL that is directly to Florida and one URL that directly to Virginia so that people can just jump deep into your site. Keep the main site, but let them jump deep in. But
what do you think of it saying Florida on top of that banner? And then there's a second banner that says Broward, Miami, right there on that Florida image. Would it be sustained? Would that be sustainable?
Much better,
Where we elaborate as to the counties we cover?
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, and it doesn't have to be this pretty. I mean, this is kind of pretty. Now, I can tell you, every time this moves, the browser is having to think and do a replacement. That leads to what's called latency. It's a microsecond latency. And these microseconds, you're like, well, that's no problem. Over time, the more of these things you have, the more the latency. Okay. Do you know what? Have you heard the term visual stability of a website? Have you ever gone to a website and as you're about to click on something, the image shifts and this new ad pops up and you go to click on something and right when you click on it, something got underneath it and now you're clicked on something else? Visual stability goes to your ranking. If your site is not visually stable within seconds or milliseconds, Google is like, this site is rubbish. Okay. I don't have a lot of stuff going on my website. I've had people complain to me my site is boring and it's only other SEO people trying to sell me stuff. You know, your site looks like it's from the 1990s. There wasn't websites in the 1990s. Thank you. But it's fast. It's fast. I always describe it. It's the Ford F-150 that runs the farm. It's not the Lamborghini that looks amazing, but you can't get groceries in your Lamborghini.
There you go.
I want to have the vehicle that actually runs my business, not the showcase that looks amazing that I can't functionally use.
Okay.
So, and there are some people taking Real Geeks right now and making it look like age and image and luxury presence. And it's just taking a good product and dogging it down. This is nothing. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm just saying, thankfully, you don't have the swans in the background and the ballerinas and the flyovers and all this other stuff that just slow a site down.
Can I tell you
some people are trying to make it?
Can I tell you that's where I was headed? So thank you for stopping me in my tracks from going and buying videos today.
You're just taking a good product and making it rubbish.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I say nobody. Very few people are going to not buy a house through you because you don't have, you know, 7 swans are swimming and 6 geese are laying on your website.
Okay.
Nobody's going to care. They want what? They want houses. Why do we not have houses? We need houses front and center. Okay.
Could you talk about marketing? Let's say I'm in a new market or I'm in a building on Palm Beach Island that I would like to start selling in, right? How can we use somebody else's listing to, and in Florida, in the MLS, there's an opportunity to market. You can select, hey, I allow you to market my listing, right? So I can go into the MLS, find some listings that I can market in a particular building in order to create traffic. Can you talk about how one would accomplish that? Go ahead.
Leslie, you got this.
So I go back to how I built my business when I started in Houston. I didn't know anybody, and the housing and urban development will let you market their listings no matter who's listed it, as long as you don't put your sign in the yard or doing it. So I was literally posting listings from HUD And most brokerages allow you to post those other listings. So what you're getting in Florida, the idea that other agents from other brokerages will let you market their listing is amazing. So you create a search. You can do for a specific property in that building on your own website. You use that link in your Facebook, in your LinkedIn. You can create a cut video of the images from that property. For your TikTok, for your Instagram. So you can market those individual properties that you're allowed to. But more than that, going back to what Bob was talking about, create a link built out, condos for sale in that building. The link would say condos for sale, building name, and just have those condos that are immediately available. And by the way, if you sort them by newest first, it'll always be fresh.
So, and one thing everything Leslie said, yes, absolutely. What brokerage are you with? Your Keller Williams in both places?
Yes.
I think Keller Williams has listings, yes?
Yes.
You are an agent of the brokerage. You have a right to market any listing in your brokerage.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You don't need permission to take whatever, and I mean, check with your broker, but I'm part of Home Smart Stars here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I have an obligation as an agent of the company to market every listing by Home Smart Stars, whether I'm the listing agent or not. I don't need permission for that. I'm an agent of the brokerage. So I just checked my page while you were talking. I have easily 20 different listings in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I can automatically go out and do without having to do anything to get permission.
So
You're at one of the
again, you're building a page though for the name of the building or the area or the subdivision, or can you specifically show us how? I need a little.
These are listings. These are listings from Home Smart Stars right now.
Okay.
I'm going to pick on Saratoga Drive and Melissa. Don't know who the listing agent is. I can literally take that URL and I can go put that on my socials. I can put that into an email. I can put that into a blog and drive people to this page specifically about this listing. By the way, it's a great listing. If anybody wants to see it, call me today. And I don't need permission because it's through my brokerage. If you have on your page here, which we could set up for you, featured properties, which I'm sure are your listings, but are these your listings, or are these your office's listings?
My listings.
Because those are yours. I would change this page to be your office's listings. Okay. And since you're in a Florida and a Northern Virginia side, I would maybe have Northern Virginia listings and Florida listings, and I'd market the hell out of every one of them. And that's going to drive people back to your site. And what I love about what you're doing is you have your own site. You're not driving people back to the broker site and giving the broker all the SEO. Sorry, brokers. You're not, people who are stuck using their broker's tools aren't thinking large enough.
Right.
So you're going to drive people back. I take this $5,500, I assume lease listing, and I would just market the heck out of this on every social I could do. Okay, and I have the right to do any other listing in my brokerage to do this as well.
There is no reason why you should not have properties to promote every day. None, zero, zilch. And if you want to promote,
especially,
you can.
Go ahead.
But if you want to promote an individual listing, you can. If you want to promote a building, that you just create the link and build it out, and now you can promote that building. And it's one of those things that it's every day you're posting. And by the way, these bring in your buyer leads. But if you have the right tools, 30% of those people have homes to sell. So you're bringing in, every time you get someone to register, 30% of those people will actually have a home to sell. You just don't know it because they registered as a buyer.
Okay, so you're part of Bright MLS here in Northern Virginia.
Yes.
And you're part of
Flex.
Is it Stellar or Beaches down there?
Beaches and Flex MLS.
Beaches.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing that you're doing that's hurting yourself is you're listing only the common elements. Okay. You only have these small number of picks here. Can I show you a different website that's in Bright? This is Kimberly Barton's website, who's the one who posted and like drove everything crazy, has a few more. Okay. I can make Bright do so much more than just the states you have because you've limited it down to the common elements between you and the other MLS.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's the ability to have more picks here that would be helpful. That would be good. But let me show you what we can do. Let me take away what we can't do. Let's say I want to do Florida, and I want to do the counties, and I want to do Broward County, Florida. You can pick subdivisions, you can pick cities. So let's say I want to have everything in Coral Springs. What's a good price point in Coral Springs?
600,000.
600,000. So I want to show you everything under 600,000. Okay, so I'm going to take this. This is the link. I would go out to my Google My Business and make a product now. Homes in, this city under $600,000. Homes in Coral Springs under 600,000. And the good thing about Real Geeks, it's different than others, is that you'll see it's English language. I can literally change this. Give me another city in Broward County.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort plus Lauderdale, if I can spell it right. There's the list of Fort Lauderdale. I can sit there and change that URL and within 2 seconds have a new page. I have another product now for Google My Business or for my Active Brain or for whatever. You can sit here and build these page links out over and over. If you were in Chime, this would be a 6-digit number that had nothing to do with the zip code. It was just a unique 6-digit number. Don't know why. Boomtown, same way, 6-digit number, and it'll have extra sort of weird characters in the URL. If you're on Sierra, all you're going to get is a URL that says results. You don't know what that URL was for. You can't take that URL and promote it off page SEO. I've talked to the people at Sierra. They know about the problem. They're thinking about changing it. Sierra, if you're watching, please get back to me. I'd love to talk to you. It's just that Real Geeks has this already in here, and it's primed for us to be able to build these pages out.
So then you
I
take
have a
this link. Can you complete your thought with what you're doing here? I'm sorry, I've never seen this
I would
done.
take
So
this link.
this is
I would
the
take this link.
question.
And this is going to be session 2, but you're getting a little preview here. I would go to business.google.com.
Yep.
And I would go into my profile. And I would create a product.
What did
Let me
you
do this for
do
one.
that? It said product?
Edit products.
Okay.
And you'll see here, I've created some already. Homes in Allen on Greenbelts. Homes in Richardson on corner lots. And you just need a picture of a house. Doesn't even have to be I've used the same house twice. Looks like. I add a product. And I'm going to put the product name. This is homes in Florida. I can't sell. And the category I've already created, but you can create a category, homes for sale. Ignore the product price. Put a description of the area and pop that link in there. And you now have another product on Google My Business. This is going to be session 2, so don't get too confused on this yet. Okay. This is a preview for session 2, where we're going to go deep into Google My Business. Okay. So, any questions on this? Does this all make sense what I'm working on?
Absolutely.
Thank you for being on the rebroadcast of session 1. So sorry session 1 didn't tape the other day, but I'm glad it did today. So if you want us to help you with your site, I'm doing this series of workshops where I'm going to go through like 7 or 8 different topics on SEO. You just got a preview of session 2. And if you want us to like work one-on-one with you, you can book me, you can book Leslie for conversion issues and how to set up your drips in your CRM, which is critically important. Or if you just want us to take your site and give it back to you ready to go, then there's ways we can work on that too. Just reach out to me. My information will be in the links below. Leslie's information in the link below. And just join our Facebook page and help us help you. Because we don't know what y'all need unless you ask for it.
Thank you for the invaluable information. This is amazing. Sunday morning to hop on a call with you both. Fabulous. Thank you.
Well, absolutely my pleasure.